So why, Graham, do the indicators not work anymore? Hello, welcome back. In today's video, we focus on a few cosmetic items. I'm not yet going to clean up the wiring at the back over here. It still looks like a rat's nest, but we're not going to clean it up yet because many years of working in IT with wiring and all kinds of things have taught me you wait until the very last moment before you clean up your wiring, because you will clean it up and then realize that you need to change something, at which time you need to undo everything again and start from scratch. So today we're going to do a few cosmetic things and I'll take you along for the ride. We got some really nice little lights that go into here, some buttons that are needed. Oh, we sorted out the grounding issue, which I'll show you in a little while. And that's roughly it. Enjoy the show. Like, subscribe. Do whatever you want to do, but support us. If you don't mind, thank you. I think you start realizing and acknowledging your age when you need little crocodile clips and a magnification glass to be able to do your soldering. It's as I always say, getting old is not for young people. This little light didn't go to market, but we did make sure that it's rated for 12 volts, unlike the 220 volts one that we bought or that we received the previous time. And the friendly gentleman at Communica, where I bought this, was kind enough to hook it up to a 12 volt source and actually show us that it's working. Look at how cool that is. It's such a beautiful little light. And now it's got wires on it so that we can wire it into the system, which obviously is going to be our indicator light that we've got power on the system. A little bit of heat shrink on there just to make sure that it's safe and it will stand the test of time. I'm wondering if I should put heat shrink over the whole thing here just to protect it. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I may have gotten a little bit ahead of myself with getting busy on the cosmetic stuff. So allow me to give you a quick recap and update. First off, power light. The second thing that you may notice is a little light over there, a little red one that doesn't want to focus. There we go, that focuses now, right? Little red light, and if you keep your eye on that red light while I push this here button, you will recognize that as the oil pressure light, indicating that we do indeed have oil pressure. I'm talking about indicators. There's the little lamp for the indicator, and don't ask me what I did, because look at this, indicators no longer work. So why, Graham, do the indicators not work anymore? Well, that's maybe because I got wondering how this thing works, because I'm pretty sure we wired it up wrong, and I may or may not have taken this apart and broken it. So I did get us a handsome replacement unit from Goldwagen. But for those of you who are very observant, will have noticed it's quite a bit bigger than what the original hazard light is, or hazard switch. So she's a bit bigger, and also it's got very different terminals at the back. So what I've decided to do, because the indicators won't work unless this thing's actually wired up, what I've decided to do is to wire up this guy temporarily. So I'm going to put some lugs that's going to work back to the normal points so I can swap them out easily, just to get the stuff to work. And in the meantime, I'm going to try and find the appropriate replacement of this original oak. Fun and games. I almost forgot to include this into the update. Power on, that you've seen. Lights, that you've seen. What you've not seen is a button for brights or high beams. Only small problem is that we don't actually have a space on the dashboard to put it, on account of these bars that run here. I was going to drill a hole for it right there, but the bar actually runs right here, so you won't actually be able to tighten the screw. So I need to find a different place to put the brights switch. Perhaps I should get rid of this oak and get like a little square, just push to make type switch, because there is actually an extra spot here. Okay, and after connecting this little blue and white wire to the 10 amp fuse in fuse box 3 over here per the diagram. Oh, and while we're looking at the diagram, Murray, thanks for warning me about this dodgy ground over here. You saved me much pain on that, just saying. Any case, so after connecting that little blue wire, ta-da, we still of course need a rev counter, a tachometer that can go up to 9,000 RPM. In the meantime, it's the place where we put our brights switchy, because I still haven't made a plan to get a push button switch to go into here. Geez, we make such progress at the moment. I am so excited. This stuff is starting to get seriously exciting because we're getting to sort of the end of wiring. So what we have there is our fuel pump, and when I switch on the ignition, and she's noisy because there's no fluid in there at the moment, so I don't want to run it for too long. Having said that, I'm actually pretty sure that I should be able to control that fuel pump from the ECU. Let me wire up the ECU quickly. I'm 100% sure I can control the fuel pump from the ECU. Alrighty then. One rat's nest of wiring. And this is why we don't neaten this up before we done and tested everything, because you'll see now the fuel pump. Let me show you the fuel pump first. So ignition, primed. So that's what it does, it primes. If you look there, that little light there indicates that we now have a wired up ECU. We're getting close. Okay guys, and that's going to be basically a wrap up for this video. Let me just quickly tell you all the things that we've completed in this video. Ignition switch, ignition light, fuel pump is priming. You can't really see it, but the speedometer, which is connected to a GPS unit, I'm just going to switch on the lights so you can see it. It's busy going through its GPS initiation thingy, because it uses GPS to determine speed and not a cable. Having said that, you just noticed now, when I turn on the lights on dims or anything, that backlight of the gauge comes on. And then over here we've got our oil pressure, which is reading really an error at the moment because we haven't connected the oil pressure thing yet, and I'll explain that later. Over here we've got oil pressure. Over here we've got amperage, which shows us the amount of amps that the amount of current that we're drawing from the battery. So if I switch on the lights, and over here we've got our water temperature, which also is not quite wired up, and over there we've got our battery voltage. And then this hook over here is for when we switch brights. Do that. And this hook for here is when we switch on and switch the indicators left and right, which is still broken because I broke it. Right guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's informative. Hope I'm hopefully answering a few questions that you may have. I'll stick a link in the description for Communica, where we got these lights from, and the switch. I'll also stick a new link into the description at the bottom for, we've added additional documentation, lots of extra documentation pertaining to how the car is set up, how to do the wiring and all that sort of stuff. Please consider subscribing, and if you feel like it, hit that little bell so you get notifications when we load up new stuff. Always remember that life is too short to drive boring cars.